Hello. So excited to be with you guys. Happy October. I cannot believe it is October. And I'm excited to bring you your Soulcast. My name is Dawn L. This is one of my favorite things to do every month is to channel and see what the energy is going to be so you can really look at it from a soul perspective of how to best navigate and work with the energy. So without further ado, I'm going to get started. How was September for you? September for me was a wild ride, I think a lot of us are getting massive growth opportunities right now. Transformation is at an all-time high, and I say that to be kind of funny, but it's true. There's so much transformation happening, and it's going to continue into October, but that Mercury retrograde, it's ended and it's going forward, but it's going to continue till the shadow period until the 20th. And so but it is in direct motion. So for a lot of you, you probably saw a lot of different patterns with communication, with your relationships, all that kind of stuff. And, there's also lots of abundance and lots of growth too. So let's see what we have in store for October. I am excited to channel and see what's coming through for this. Fun. We got the Passion Ignited card. I'm just going to write this down really quick. I love this card. It's a card of spiritual new beginnings. It's a card of being so deeply excited about something that you want to see come to fruition. This very much feels for me that we're like right on, it's so funny. They show me like right about, like if you're about to start a race and you're right at the start line and one foot is like right tipping over to the, kind of to get going. And then there's one back, and the one that's back is still rooted in the past. And the one that's moving forward is, ready to embrace the future. For a lot of us, we're still toggling a little bit. We're still letting go of some of the patterns, some of the programs. This card is really talking about what is your future calling to you? What is your divine purpose? What is it that your soul wants to do? There's going to be a big theme this month about how you can get really activated by pleasure, prosperity, and passion. The 3 P's. pleasure, prosperity, and passion. And using those to get you through some of the changes that you're going through, like making sure that everything that you're doing is aligned with where you feel like pleasure, joy, prosperity, like really eradicating lack consciousness in your life and really being passionate about this. So this isn't necessarily just going to be something that's ego-based. It's very much, it's the pleasures of the body, right? Feeling the pleasure of the body this month, really tuning into the body, treating your body from a perspective of the nervous system, like maintaining your health, making sure that you're resting a lot. There's so many changes going on with the physical body. Hi, Mindy. It's so great to see you. There's a lot of changes with the physical. And so making sure that you're choosing pleasure. And when I say pleasure, I'm not saying like do the easy thing per se. I'm saying like really think about what over the long haul would bring your body pleasure. So for me, that's like green juicing every day, because it makes me feel really healthy. So pleasure of the body, prosperity, really your mindset being focused on how you can have prosperity consciousness this month, because that is the future, right? The future is a blank canvas, what you're moving towards, seeing it as the biggest thing possible that you want. And then being passionate and excited about it, your purpose, why you're here, what you're meant to do. And what you're meant to do, let's say, I should reframe that and say what you're meant to be, because it's an energy first, and then it translates into like what you're doing on a daily basis. So I just love this, and it's a 1 card, so it's new beginnings. October does feel like a breath of fresh air in a lot of ways. It feels like the energy is going to be a lot lighter than it was in September. I don't know about you, but I felt a lot of heaviness in September. I felt like I was releasing so much, and we are going to still be releasing a lot in October. But if you can use those 3 P's as kind of like the foundation for what you're working on, it's going to be a lot easier. we're shifting a lot. We're moving through a lot right now. So let's see what this first week of October holds for us. We have a full moon in Aries this weekend. So what were your new moon intentions back, what was that, in April or something, when we had the Aries new moon? So now looking at your intentions for the full moon, seeing how they've come to fruition. What seeds did you plant back then? How are they starting to really show up for you? And it's kind of perfect because Aries energy it's bold, it's courageous, it's taking action, it's moving towards our dreams. And so you can't do that without a lot of courage and confidence towards what you really want. So this full moon is going to ask us to kind of circle back and look at that, because Aries is about the self. It's an individual energy. So we get the opportunity to see where we're tracking with that. We are still in Libra energy, right? We're still in that for a little bit longer. Than we transition into Scorpio this month. So good times. Okay, so what's the energy for this week? Let's see. Okay, discontentment. This card always cracks me up. Discontentment and boredom. Wow. This card reminds me of like somebody that's they're just not digging what's happening. It's not happening fast enough for them. So where in your life are you feeling apathy? Are you feeling that things aren't moving fast enough? Basing it maybe off the ego versus the heart. Feeling like you're supposed to be somewhere else. And that's the thing with this start kind of like this, where I see it's almost like if you were going to run a race and you were going to hit go, you like hear the gun go off to start the race. You have to be prepared. You have to know where you're going. You have to know what you want. And this card, if you're kind of feeling apathy towards what's happening in your life, if you're overwhelmed right now, which I've talked to a lot of people who are very overwhelmed with the energy on the planet. They're just like, your emotions could take over and it could make you feel like kind of numb. So this is a week to get really grounded, to really think about if you're going to run a race and you're going to step into the future, where are you moving towards? What's your destination? It's really interesting with this card. I got this because I personally am going through something where there's a timeline involved. Like, I want things to move faster. And the universe keeps telling me, like, slow down, like, trust the timing of things. So I share that message with you. Where could you slow down? Trust that everything's working out. There's also a deeper message with this too, is in the quiet, in the stillness, you will receive your answers. Oftentimes when we get boredom actually can lead to creativity. When we're bored, it's like we're sitting still and we can receive a lot of information that way versus being go, go, go. The other thing that I want to share about this is that this is kind of really personal, because I received this. I woke up last night in the middle of the night. I don't even know what time it was. And I heard this message and it said, wait for the golden timeline. And I was shown a key, a gold key. Wait for the golden timeline. And basically what that meant is for all of us, there's this golden timeline. It's like your highest timeline that you want to receive, that you want to have happen. So whatever it is that you desire, imagine that energy just being this like beautiful golden color. And to receive the timeline, sometimes we think we need to produce the future. Like we have to like go out and grab it and make it happen. But a lot of times it's about the energetics of it's the energetics of receiving the future. So if you're going to be in the energetics to receive the future that you want, that golden timeline, are you aligned with it? Like, use this week to get back into alignment, to be still, to let yourself be bored, to let the discontentment of your life inform you about where you're going, instead of having it be like where you just kind of numb out and distract yourself. Like, use that as like anytime you face resistance or you're uncomfortable in your life, sit with it, be with it. Hold on one second. I'm doing something for work. I'll be right there.
The drain's not fully clogged.
Okay, well, I'm right in the middle of something, so sorry. My daughter's taking a bath and the drain's not working. So this goal, I want to go back to this golden timeline before I forget what I was going to say. The golden timeline, to receive that, use this week to get realigned with your vision, but most importantly, how you're feeling about everything. Because that's what I was saying. The discontentment is informing you of where you have resistance, maybe where you're not trusting life, where you're overly emotional about things. Because that other card I pulled, the passion card, it's great to be passionate, but not to lose yourself in your emotional body. The other thing with this is about trusting your heart. And the golden timeline, I saw this key, and the key was like shown to me that the key is going to help unlock what's coming next. And I feel like for a lot of us, if we've been kind of in a holding pattern, that towards like the third week of October, there's going to be more movement. There's more energy. There's forward momentum. And the miracle that you've been waiting for, it doesn't matter if it's a tiny one or something really big, it's coming. That's the message that they're giving me right now. It's coming. Like that shift that you've been waiting for, that kind of like the thing that's informing you of what you're supposed to do next is coming. And that's where I see this golden key that unlocks the next level for you, that unlocks the next thing that's happening in your life. But you have to be patient. You have to trust, and you have to allow yourself to receive the golden timeline. You cannot go against God's will. I know it sounds kind of nutty, but like God's will, divine will, you could say it like that, is on a higher timeline than ours. Like the ego is like, I want things a specific way. And that's why we get discontent and bored, right? I mean, there's other reasons we get bored in life. It's like, maybe you're not doing the right job, or maybe you're not in the right relationship. Like if that's the case, then examine that and get out of it. But that's not, this is a bigger thing. This is like a deeper understanding of like, if you have that in your energy field, that discontentment, it's there to show you something. So be with the resistance this week. Let it inform you. Let it teach you. Let it show you, because in that you are growing and evolving. And you may be letting go of a lot of ancestral stuff this week too. It feels like it. I feel like you're like really in your throat chakra, you're releasing a lot of density. So that's what I get. And then we have that full moon on Sunday, I believe. Okay, so let me check in now with the next week, which we have the 10th. And we start eclipse season next week. So that's going to be really interesting. So for the 10th, let's see. I'm on live on the internet, so if you could just wait, I'll be right there, honey. It's going to take me about 10 or 15 more minutes. Okay? I love you. Real life here. Real life. This is not... So I got the death card. In this deck, it's called Transformation. Ooh! This card... And it doesn't have to be like, it's not scary. It's just it's all about, like, think of the seasons right now. Think of the leaves on the trees changing. If you are passionate and excited about something, if you're right at the start of that, that, like I'm telling you, at the start line, ready to go towards your future, you're going from letting this first week of October inform you and show you where you're tracking with things. And then you go into this where it's like, okay, what needs to be let go of? What things in your reality are ready to be cut out? And so just this is a very simple message in the sense that, we're in order to be reborn, we have to let go of aspects of ourselves. And it's challenging, right? It's difficult when we're addicted to our identity. And this is a week where they're showing me a lot of green energy, and they're talking about the heart And in order for the heart to open more, there has to be forgiveness. That's what they're telling me. It's a massive message of forgiveness of the past, of letting go, because you can't move forward to where you're going if you're still holding on. So you may have something with a person or a situation. This week you have to rewrite that story. It needs to be done. It needs to be over. It needs to die. Like the way that you've been operating, like an aspect of you might need to cease, in the sense that if you're hanging on to that victim story, like that's not going to help you move forward to the next thing. If you're still aligned with a behavior or an addiction that keeps you looping and behaving the same way, it's not going to work for you the same. So there's this feeling that in order to honor your heart, this is about your relationship to yourself. This is not about anybody else. They're showing me a little bit of like how you can relate to others, but this is an internal thing. I feel like this is like the forgiveness that's needed for self in order for you to operate at your highest moving forward, for you to relate to others the best that you can. Massive like forgiveness. It's weird. I see just so much like heaviness leaving your system if you're willing to forgive yourself for the past, or wherever you might still be stuck on the past. And if you're also able to then extend that outwards to other people, because when you forgive, they're saying that's when you're prompting the miracle that's supposed to come in that like third week. I did an amazing thing one time. I should probably revisit it. One of my mentors, I'll say her name, Jeannie Fritsch. She taught me how to do this like forgiveness thing. And you like basically write down on a piece of paper all the people that you need to forgive. And you just kind of imagine them on a soul level coming, sitting next to you, like let's say on the beach. And you say like a mantra thing, and you forgive them. And maybe you have to forgive yourself for your part in the relationship too. But some of the most powerful work I've ever done was doing that exercise, because you just can't even imagine, like if you like when I channel and I look in people's energy fields, sometimes I see like a spider web of energy of like so much entanglement. So in order to like be free to like move towards our dreams and what we want to do, we have to be like not in so much entanglement. Like how many resentments and things with other people might be holding you back from the life that you're meant to live? We have to get to a point where you have to ask yourself, am I living this life for myself and what I really want to do and my mission and my purpose? Or am I really like still so concerned about what other people think about me and what this other person did to me back in the past? Because that latter thing that I just described, that is like a spider web that's going to hold you back from moving towards your future. So this week of the 10th is really about letting go. And it for some it might feel like an ego death, for others it might just be a little peace, but it's definitely, there's a release that's going to happen. And it feels like mostly towards self and then extending it outwards. But it opens you up. It opens you up to receive more of who you truly are. And so that's really powerful. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what that means. Let's see. We start the eclipse season on the 11th. Eclipses, they're wormholes. Like you go in it and then who you come out on the other side is different. It's from the 11th to the 25th. Okay. So there's that. Let me see what we got for the 17th. On the 20th, just so you guys know, the Mercury, the post shadow, the Mercury retrograde is over. But let's see what we got for the week of the 17th. Now that we had our death transformation card. Some of you are in the, what's it called? The metamorphosis stage. Some of you are in the transformation, and don't give up. Keep, if a part of you, it's interesting because Scorpio is this, and I don't know when it changes over into Scorpio, but Scorpio is the Phoenix rising. So For some of us, we have to go through a proverbial death to get to who we're meant to be. Hi, Alexandra. It's good to see you, honey. To get to the other side. I'm in one right now. And by God, you know, it's every time I think to myself, I'm always like, I've done a lot of spiritual work. I'm where, you know, and then every time I'm like, oh, wait, there's the next elevation. There's always a new elevation to climb. So what do I need to let go to get there? Oh my God. Okay. 17th, week of the 17th. Oh, this card, I love this. Love begins. So, you know, it's really interesting. So the month card is Passion Ignited, which is a 1 card. And then we have this card, which is a 1 card. So there's a frequency of new beginnings happening, which is great. So you end the last week of the 10th with kind of the death card. So what's the rebirth? What are you rebirthing? Where you know, what's the heart asking you to do? You clear, let's say if you do that forgiveness work, you've cleared a lot of space, you have a lot of room to step into love begins. And if you remember what I was saying in the beginning, prosperity, passion, and pleasure. What are the things that you want to begin? You know, it doesn't have, this could be a romance, you know, more love, you know, really feeling that week of the 17th, it feels like there's a very tangible representation of love in your life. Like you may feel enamored with the people around you. Like if you're in a significant relationship, you might fall back in love with your partner. You may feel reinvigorated in that relationship. You might feel like you're falling in love. You know, for some people, it's like they're going to meet somebody this week and it's going to feel really incredible. For others, it's going to be like a labor of love is birthed, like something that you've been working on, because this feels like the miracle week. Remember I was saying there's like a week where it feels like something like a miracle kind of shifts, something happens. And with the Love Begins card, it feels the love that you're ushering for yourself, the love that you usher for the divine and what you want. Because you guys, I'm going to keep it real here for a second. So I've been working on manifesting something. And if I just pay attention to the physical reality, sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't know what's happening. I can get lost in the minutia of things. And one of the things I've realized about futuring is not only do you have to have like massive cojones, and I shouldn't say that because that's sexist, but let's say just massive courage to believe that what you are manifesting is going to come when maybe there's no signs of it, but the love that you have to have for yourself and for this life is really important. I don't know why. I feel like that message is really, it's an important message for me to share right now, because when I've been pushed against my edge with, you know, futuring and stuff, what I've realized is if you're going to create a brilliant future, if you're going to create the life that you want, it has to come from a loving place. And if it's coming from fear or apathy, and apathy I talked about a little bit earlier, those aren't the futures that you want to create, right? So if anything, whenever I see this card, the love starts with ourselves. That's why the week before you're doing the forgiveness work, you're working on reclaiming parts of yourself, and then you get a new beginning. You get some miracle. Life shows you that you're on this new path, this project, whatever you're working on. Maybe there's forward momentum. There's lots of love. Celebrate the love in your life. It's really important. And really see that whatever you're working on, futuring, because, you know, we're always working on calling forward a new future, but you have to be present to what is. And letting life inform you of what's happening. You always see through the triggers, through what is challenging, but keep choosing love over and over and over again. Keep choosing what you're grateful for. This week, think about all the ways that life feels easy and delicious and delightful and full of pleasure, prosperity, and passion. Because this week it's to fill you up. It's to fill you up. And then, last but not least, we go into the 24th, which is getting closer to Halloween and all that kind of fun stuff. Saturn moves direct on the 22nd. Saturn's like that. Saturn's a tough planet. It's one of all the lessons and stuff. So it's going to move. We're going to get some forward momentum. We just have so much in retrograde. So that'll be nice to have that moving forward. But then I think we have other planets going retrograde. It's a wild ride on this planet right now. Okay, so then last but not least, what's the 24th? Accelerated motion. These are great cards, you guys. Seriously. They feel really good. I don't know if you guys followed it last month. I had 2 tower cards 2 weeks in a row. I did it a little different last month because I was on Instagram doing it. But accelerated motion. Oh my goodness. So you're following the Love Begins week. You start to see forward momentum, and then all of a sudden, whoosh, things just take off. Spiritually, this is a spiritual card. And 8 being your power, right? It's what you're focusing on. It's where you're putting your power, where you're putting your intentions. What I'm seeing is what you've, so much throat chakra stuff. So like what you're constructing, like what you're building for yourself. It just feels like there's lots of movement. And to what I was saying about loving yourself when you're futuring, which is a funny way to say it, but you have to have faith. Like faith is, I mean, I have so much faith, but I've realized I'm kind of a nut when it comes to it. And I believe in things that most people don't. And this is the week that you'll see some movement and some shifts, you know, especially with the miracle energy that I see the week before. It's, you know, like it's going to be in that 3rd or 4th week. I see, you know, the miracle stuff, but this is a reminder too. They're saying, I'm going to reference this book that I read. There's this book that I just finished. It's called Falling Upwards. A priest wrote it. I'm not religious, but I read this book. Really great book. And it talks about the first half of life and then the second half of life. First half of life, you're chasing your ego. You're doing all the things that, you know, you're programmed to do, what culture tells you. It's just the whole thing, right? And then the second half of life is you've had enough things happen to you that you realize how precious life is. You realize what you want to be passionate about, not what you want to fight for. Because sometimes fighting activates your pain body, right? But what you want to be passionate about, what inspires you? What's your purpose? And so this card feels very much like you get accelerated motion for the things that are really important, for the things that help you become the greatest contribution in your life. And only you know what that means. A contribution could be like you're a great mother or father to your children. It could be that you're a great sibling or best friend, or maybe you are the breadwinner. Maybe you're somebody that's like moving and shaking in Washington, D.C. as a lobbyist. I don't know. Maybe you're not doing all sorts of kind of things for humanity. Point being, this week, your contribution gets ignited more. You start to think about what brings you power, what makes you feel good in your life. What are your gifts? How do you want to use those gifts? How do you want to help humanity? Because this life is not just about, right? It's not just about what's in it for me. There has to be a shift. This is a service card, is what they're telling me for this reading. That it's how do we get to be of service? And so some of you have been kind of scared to show up in your gifts. And I talked about this on my stories last week. I said, when I'm going through a difficult time in my life, it's hard for me to show up sometimes and do all these things. And even today I wasn't feeling well. And I was like, I don't know if I want to go on and do it. My internet was acting up. And I said, no, I made a commitment. This isn't about me. This is about the contribution I'm making to help other people that I committed to, because in the end, it makes me feel good to help be a contribution and serve humanity in some way, to be of service. So what's that thing for you that you're meant to be doing And are you doing it? Are you wavering on it? Are you showing up in your gifts? Because it's really important this last week to take everything that you've learned these last, few months and to start showing up in it and helping other people, because we are in a trauma-based world right now and people are scared. People are scared about recession. People are scared about food supply, all sorts of stuff. I hear all sorts of rumblings and I don't even watch the news. And your light, your ability to stay grounded in a very ungrounded world is so important right now, because you have an auric effect on people. Your frequency, helps shift people. So it's really, that's why I'll circle it all the way back to the beginning. That's why it's so important to have the pleasure, prosperity, and passion in your life. Like make that like a big emphasis this month for you, so that by the time you get to the end of the month, you start to see, because if you did pleasure yourself, I'm going to get banned. Whoops, I shouldn't have said it like that. But if you do take pleasure in your life for yourself, then your body's going to feel better. If you're eradicating lack consciousness in your life, think about that. Where are you in lack in your life right now? Because you're living a story based on fear. Maybe it's your money. Maybe it's your relationships. I don't know, but change that story. What's the prosperous version of that story? And how, how can you take that and turn it into your passion, like really show up on a daily basis in that energy. So it's going to be, this month feels so much lighter. And it feels like you're going to be nourished and filled up more if you take my advice. So take it, nurture yourself, love yourself, have fun this month. And when I see these miracles, some certain months are more miracle filled than others. And when I tell you that they're saying there's a miracle, like put it in your journal and just write somewhere in your journal, I'm so excited to receive the miracles that are on their way to me, and live in the frequency of expecting it, because then it makes it that much easier for you to receive it. So I'm super excited. Last but not least, I was going to just share, I have a group coaching program that is starting in later October. It's going to just be a small group of women, 5 women, very intimate. I'm going to be using all my stuff, a little bit of my, training with my trauma-informed somatic training and my futuring and all the different things I do. I'm not going to even go into it, but it's called Destined. You're going to start the program off and you're going to think about, what are you destined for? Where do you want to be? It's actually going to be 7 months because it's over the holidays. Where do you want to be 7 months from now? And I'm going to help you get there with all the tools, and we're going to be really going deep, and we have a little retreat in the middle of it. So if you're interested in learning more, message me. I'd be happy to tell you about it. Sending you guys so much love. Have a beautiful month, and I'll see you soon.